Let's talk honestly for a minute. 2025 wasn't a bad year for gaming because developers suddenly forgot how to make games. It was a bad year because AAA studios got way too comfortable selling ideas instead of finished experiences. Every trailer looked incredible. Every showcase promised innovation, and somehow, when the games actually released, the magic disappeared the moment you picked up the controller. This wasn't about bugs alone. This was about design decisions, missing polish, and studios betting that hype would do the job that development time used to do. Let's break it down. Mind's Eye, a game that needed another year. Mind's Eye entered 2025 with massive expectations. The trailers were cinematic, confident, and clearly inspired by Rockstar-style storytelling. The marketing leaned heavily on the ex-Rockstar developers angle, and naturally, people expected something bold and refined. But when you actually play it, the cracks show immediately. Combat feels stiff, not in a tactical or weighty way, but in a way that feels underdeveloped. Enemy AI lacks awareness, rarely pressures the player, and often behaves in ways that break immersion completely. Missions repeat the same structure over and over, which quickly drains any sense of momentum. What makes this frustrating is that you can clearly see the ambition behind it. The world, the tone, the concept, none of these are bad ideas. The problem is execution. Mind's Eye feels like a game that was pushed out before its systems had time to mature. Instead of evolving as you play, it exposes its limitations the longer you stay with it. This isn't a failure of creativity, it's a failure of patience. FBC Firebreak is one of the most confusing releases of the year. Remedy built its reputation on atmosphere, psychological storytelling, and games that feel deliberately crafted. Firebreak, by contrast, feels like a product designed to fit into a trend rather than lead one. The world lacks presence. Environments feel sterile, as if they exist only to host objectives rather than tell a story. Mission design is repetitive, and the gameplay loop never truly evolves. Gunplay works on a mechanical level, but there's no impact, no tension, and no sense of identity. It feels functional, not inspired. What's most disappointing is how little of Remedy's signature style survives here. The strange, surreal energy that defined Control is mostly gone, replaced by safe, generic design choices. Firebreak doesn't collapse under its own weight. It simply fades out, leaving no reason to come back. Assassin's Creed Shadows proves that technical polish alone isn't enough anymore. Visually, the game is impressive. The environments are detailed, lighting is strong, and animations are smoother than ever. From a presentation standpoint, Ubisoft delivered exactly what people expected. But once you settle into the gameplay loop, the familiar problems return. Mission structure rarely surprises. Side content feels designed to fill space rather than deepen the world. Stealth systems exist, but the game often fails to meaningfully reward careful play. The map is massive, but much of it feels empty in terms of emotional engagement. There's a lot to do, but very little that feels memorable. Shadows isn't broken, it's just creatively exhausted. It represents a franchise that has mastered production value while struggling to evolve its core design. Black Ops 7 didn't shock anyone, and that's exactly the issue. The game launched with the expected server issues and balance problems. Multiplayer remains fast, competitive, and unforgiving to casual players. Zombies delivers familiar mechanics without pushing the mode forward in any meaningful way. The campaign is serviceable, but forgettable. None of this is catastrophic, but none of it feels necessary either. Call of Duty has reached a point where it relies almost entirely on routine. Players know what they're getting before they even load in. Black Ops 7 isn't failing, it's stagnating, and stagnation is far more dangerous for a franchise this big than a single bad release. Monster Hunter Wilds shows what happens when ambition outpaces optimization. The monster designs are excellent. Combat remains deep and rewarding. The game introduces ideas that genuinely expand the series. But technical issues consistently interrupt the experience. Frame rate drops during intense encounters. Performance instability breaks immersion. On some systems, these problems turn otherwise exciting hunts into frustrating endurance tests. This is a game that clearly needed more time to be optimized across platforms. Instead of launching as a polished evolution, it arrived feeling unfinished. The disappointment comes from knowing how close it is to greatness. What 2025 really exposed about AAA gaming? The common thread across all these games isn't incompetence. It's pressure. Pressure to meet deadlines. Pressure to satisfy investors. Pressure to release before momentum dies. AAA studios are not bad at making games. They're bad at letting games be finished. Gamers are willing to wait. They're willing to forgive rough launches if there's honesty and effort behind them. What they won't forgive is being sold something that isn't ready, especially at full price. 2025 didn't just disappoint players. It exposed how fragile trust in AAA gaming has become. And unless studios change how they prioritize development over marketing, this cycle is only going to repeat.